Little blunders, signs of disrespect, and miscellaneous missteps that you can't afford to make? We're going over 9 of them, and we're going over them next. I'm Mike Quackenbush, and this is Till We Make It. Here on my channel, I make videos for fellow professional wrestlers at every single stage of their careers. And I do this because when I was starting out, when I was just a rookie, I had no mentor to guide me. I had no coach to teach me. And I think lack of access to that veteran wisdom, knowledge, and experience during my formative years played a real role in my failure to achieve my ultimate career goal. And I don't want you to fall short of your career goal for lack of access to that same information. That's why Till We Make It exists. And if you're down with that, join the Till We Make It tribe. Subscribe down below. And then, let's dive in. Some of the 9 mistakes I want to cover with you today are relevant to the training environment, while others are specific to live events. But I want to start with the training ones. So up first is this one, also a little bit of a personal pet peeve. Do not get in the ring before class starts unless you have your coach's permission. You are not meant to just slide in and start stretching, tumbling, or bumping around the ring if your coach hasn't given you the okay. Now, of course, the culture from one training school to another can be vastly different, but I'll never forget one of the times I happened to be a guest coach down at the Performance Center for the WWE, and I saw some of their contracted performers do exactly that. And the end result was each of them were fined $1,000 for doing it. Do not get in the ring without your coach's permission. Up second is something I think of as a bit of a no-brainer, but apparently not, because here we are talking about it on a Till We Make It video. This is also relevant to the training environment. Every time you touch the floor and then touch the ring, you need to wipe your feet because you're picking up whatever particles, dust, dirt, and debris are down on the floor and bringing them up onto the canvas, which is why every time you are stepping between the ropes, you need to precede that by wiping the bottoms of your boots or wrestling sneakers out on the apron. Never drag the floor debris into the office, so to speak. Or as I often tell my students, don't bring that dirt and dust into the ring, because in a moment, that's exactly where I'm going to be rubbing your face. Up third is a sign of disrespect in the training environment that is not being addressed enough in the world of professional wrestling, and that is the phenomenon of side coaching. Do you know what I mean by that? It's when someone who is not the coach in class decides that they're going to start to help instruct or advise the other people taking the class. They're just another trainee. They're just someone else in the class, but they've decided to elect themselves the side coach of the session. And this is extremely disrespectful to whomever is leading the class. This next misstep we gotta talk about is both relevant in the training environment and in the live event environment. And it is a lesson I had to learn the hard way, which is this. Do not contradict someone who is senior to you in the organization's hierarchy or senior to you in number of years in the business in front of other people. If you need to offer some contradictory statement or argument to them based on what they just explained or taught to the group, do so in private. I realize that this sounds like a very obvious thing, and yet I have not only watched others do it, I have not only had people do that to me, I have made this mistake as well. Find a private moment away from the group to offer whatever that idea you have might be, but do not contradict them in front of the group. If you're getting some value out of today's video, this is a fine time to leave a like-a-palooza or go ahead and drop a comment down below. Or if you'd like to take your support of what I do here at Till We Make It to the next level, consider joining our community over on Patreon, a link to which you will find down below in the descriptus. Up fifth on my list is the sort of thing you only realize once you are hip deep into a long-tenured career in professional wrestling. It's this. Do not make the mistake of snubbing the boss's significant other. Whether you are going to a live event or it's the first time you're being welcomed into a new locker room by a wrestling organization, you're going to have to make the rounds. You're going to have to go around and introduce yourself for the very first time and shake everybody's hands. And sometimes we think that is limited to just the other performers on the card, just the wrestlers and the referees and the ringside managers, or maybe some of the crew, the camera operators, the lighting guy, the audio team, etc. Do not make the mistake of snubbing the boss's significant other if you have the opportunity to meet them. Show that you can be polite and friendly, because guaranteed, the significant other of any wrestling boss bears some of the stress and anxiety that comes with producing professional wrestling, and they often feel as if they go overlooked and underappreciated. So go the extra mile. Don't snub the boss's significant other. It may save you if late one night that couple happens to be having a conversation about which wrestlers they can keep and which wrestlers are going to have to be let go for budgetary reasons. You will have greatly preferred to be the type who takes those extra 2 minutes to show that they are polite and friendly to the boss's significant other. This next one's got my blood boiling just a little bit, even thinking about it. If someone is offering you notes, feedback, constructive criticism on the match you just had, do not make the mistake of trying to justify the choices you made during the performance that are now being critiqued. If someone takes the time to watch your match, especially if it's someone you asked to do that, and then they do offer you the feedback or constructive criticism that you sought, do not debate, argue, or justify the choices that you made out there in the ring. Just listen to what they have to say, evaluate it later when the conversation is over, and thank them for the time and attention they devoted to you. And anything less than that is a sign of disrespect. Some of these blunders are kind of small, right? This next one is not. Unless you have been specifically told to do so by someone in charge, do not sit in the audience before or after your match. This shatters the experience the audience has paid for. You are leaving the show environment and becoming part of the audience. If you ever expect anybody out in those seats to ever buy a ticket to see you wrestle ever again, do not make that mistake. If you're a longtime member of the Till We Make It tribe, number 8 won't come as news to you. You should never, ever open your envelope and count your money in front of the locker room. This is just classless. Be a real professional. For a little bit of help on that, there's a whole video on this channel on this exact topic, and I'm going to make sure a link appears somewhere easy for you to find. And number 9 on my list of the mistakes you cannot afford to make is this. When it comes time to put your match together for the evening, and you sit down in the locker room knees to knees with your opponent on the card, and they say to you, "What do you want to do tonight?" You cannot answer with, "We can do anything," or "I don't know, what do you want to do?" or anything else which avoids doing the work of being a professional wrestler. This is the moment when you need to start to put forth your structural or mechanical ideas. And if you have absolutely no ideas whatsoever, this is when you start to invoke your greatest hits. There's a reason why I started 7 Keys to Becoming a Better Performer with a whole chapter dedicated to the refinement and battle testing of your greatest hits. It's to prepare you for moments exactly like this. And if you need my tools, tips, and tricks to help get you ready to take the stage in optimal form, then make sure to grab 7 Keys to Becoming a Better Performer. It's available right now from Amazon.com, either in paperback or as an ebook, or I'll read it to you myself over on Audible.